Imagine this. You're sitting at a cozy family dinner table, the kind where laughter usually fills the air, and the smell of homemade pie lingers like a warm hug. But tonight, something feels off. The smiles seem a little too sharp, the jokes a bit too pointed. That's how it started for me, Emily, on what should have been just another holiday get-together. Little did I know, this night would shatter my world and set me on a path I never imagined. Let me take you back to that evening. It was Thanksgiving, and our family home in the suburbs was buzzing with energy. My parents, both in their late 60s, had decorated the place with autumn leaves and twinkling lights. My dad, a retired teacher with a gentle smile, was carving the turkey, while Mom busied herself with side dishes, her apron dusted with flour. And then there was my sister, Sarah, 3 years older than me, always the golden child. She arrived with her husband, Mark, and their two perfect kids, little Tommy and sweet Lily, who were running around like joyful tornadoes. I was 35 at the time, single, no kids, and honestly, content with my life. I had a good job as a graphic designer, a small apartment in the city, and friends who felt like family. But Sarah, she never let me forget that I didn't have what she called the full package. As we all sat down to eat, the conversation flowed easily at first, talking about work, the kids' school plays, Dad's latest fishing trip. But then Sarah turned to me with that sly grin of hers, the one that always made my stomach twist. "So, Emily," she said, her voice dripping with fake innocence, "where's your husband and kids? Oh, right, you don't have any." She let out a chuckle like it was the funniest thing in the world. And then the unthinkable happened. My parents laughed too. Dad snorted into his napkin, and Mom covered her mouth, but her eyes sparkled with amusement. I froze, my fork halfway to my mouth. It felt like a punch to the gut. How could they? These were the people who raised me, who were supposed to love me unconditionally. The room went silent for a beat, except for Sarah's lingering giggle. I forced a smile, trying to play it off. "Yeah, well, I'm happy on my own," I muttered, but my voice cracked just a little. Inside, a storm was brewing. Anger, hurt, betrayal. Why would my own sister mock me like that? And why would my parents join in? As the night wore on, I excused myself early, claiming a headache. But driving home, tears blurred my vision. That moment replayed in my head like a broken record. Little did I know, this was just the beginning. What secrets was Sarah hiding that made her so bold? And how far would I go to make her regret those words? As I lay in bed that night, staring at the ceiling, questions swirled in my mind. Had our family always been this way, or had something changed? I thought back to our childhood, Sarah and I, playing in the backyard, sharing secrets under the covers. We were close once, weren't we? But over the years, as she built her picture-perfect life and I chose a different path, a rift grew. She started making little digs here and there about my lonely weekends or my empty apartment. I brushed them off, telling myself it was just sibling rivalry. But this crossed a line. The next morning, I woke up with a fire in my belly. I couldn't let this slide. But revenge? That word felt heavy, dangerous even. Still, I needed answers. Why did she feel the need to tear me down? And my parents? Did they really see me as a joke? I decided to dig a little deeper, starting with old family photos and conversations I'd overheard. What I uncovered would change everything. But let's not rush ahead. First, you need to understand how we got here. The bonds that were supposed to be unbreakable but frayed over time. Transitioning from that painful night, let's rewind to where it all began. Our childhood home, a modest 2-story house on Maple Street, where Sarah and I grew up as inseparable sisters. Or at least, that's how I remembered it. Picture us as kids. Me with my messy pigtails, always drawing in my sketchbook, and Sarah with her neat braids, organizing tea parties for her dolls. We shared a room, whispered dreams late into the night, and promised to always have each other's backs. But even then, there were hints of something brewing beneath the surface. Our parents doted on us both, but in different ways. Dad encouraged my creativity, buying me art supplies and praising my wild imagination. Mom, on the other hand, seemed to favor Sarah's practicality. She was the one who got straight A's, joined every club, and dreamed of a big wedding and a house full of kids. "Sarah's going places," Mom would say with a proud smile. I didn't mind at first. I was happy being the free spirit. But as we hit our teens, the comparisons started. "Why can't you be more like your sister?" Mom would ask when I brought home a B in math. Sarah would smirk, soaking it up. High school amplified it all. Sarah was prom queen, captain of the debate team, dating the quarterback. I was in the art club, hanging with the misfits, more interested in painting murals than popularity contests. When Sarah got into a top college on a scholarship, the family celebrated like she'd won the lottery. My acceptance to a local art school? It was nice, but nothing special. Emily's just different, Dad would say, trying to soften the blow. But I felt it. The subtle favoritism, the way Sarah's achievements cast a shadow over mine. After college, our paths diverged even more. Sarah met Mark at her job in marketing, got engaged within a year, and had Tommy soon after. Lily followed 2 years later. They bought a house in the suburbs, complete with a white picket fence. Me? I moved to the city, built a career in design, traveled solo to places like Paris and Tokyo. I dated here and there, but nothing stuck. I liked my independence. No one to answer to, no schedules to juggle. But every family visit, Sarah would probe, "Still single? Don't you want kids?" Her tone wasn't concern, it was pity mixed with superiority. I started noticing patterns. At birthdays, she'd gift me self-help books on finding love. At holidays, she'd parade her family like trophies. And our parents? They ate it up. "When are you going to settle down, Emily?" Mom would ask, echoing Sarah's words. Dad would nod along, though sometimes he'd give me a sympathetic look. I wondered if they knew how much it hurt. Did they see the tears I hid? Or were they blind to Sarah's subtle cruelty? One memory stands out. Our grandma's funeral 5 years ago. Amid the grief, Sarah pulled me aside. "At least I have my family to lean on," she whispered. It stung, like she was implying I was alone in my sorrow. I bit my tongue, not wanting to cause a scene. But seeds of resentment planted themselves deep. Back then, I forgave and forgot. Now, after that Thanksgiving mockery, those seeds were sprouting. As days turned to weeks after the incident, I couldn't shake the hurt. I replayed the laughter in my mind, feeling the betrayal anew each time. Why did Sarah need to mock me? Was it jealousy? Insecurity? I decided to find out. I started small, scrolling through her social media, noticing how perfect everything looked. But perfection often hides cracks. What if I peeled back the layers? Little did I know, the truth was darker than I imagined. But before we dive into that discovery, let's explore the build-up to that fateful dinner, the tensions that simmered just below the surface. Picking up from those childhood memories, the years leading up to that Thanksgiving were a slow boil of unspoken frustrations. I visited home less often, citing work deadlines, but really it was to avoid the judgments. Sarah's life seemed flawless on the outside. Promotions at work, family vacations to Disney, Instagram posts captioned, "Blessed beyond measure." Mine? Freelance gigs, Netflix marathons, and the occasional girls' night out. I was happy, truly, but their comments made me doubt myself. About a year before the incident, things escalated at Mom's birthday party. We were all gathered in the backyard, string lights twinkling overhead. Sarah, pregnant with Lily at the time, was glowing. She turned to me during dessert. "Emily, you're 34 now. Clock's ticking. Don't you want this?" She rubbed her belly, smiling sweetly. Mark chuckled, and Mom added, "She's right, dear. Family is everything." Dad stayed quiet, but his silence spoke volumes. I felt exposed, like my choices were on trial. "I'm fine," I said firmly, but inside anger flickered. After that, I distanced myself more. Phone calls became texts, visits shorter. But guilt nagged at me. Family was family, right? So when Thanksgiving rolled around, I showed up, hoping for a fresh start. The drive there was peaceful, fall leaves crunching under tires. I even brought a homemade apple pie, my specialty. Pulling into the driveway, I took a deep breath. This will be good, I told myself. The evening started well. Hugs, compliments on the pie, kids showing off their drawings. Tommy, age 7, tugged at my sleeve. "Aunt Emily, draw me a dragon," I laughed, sketching one on a napkin. For a moment, it felt normal. But as dinner progressed, the mood shifted. Sarah steered the conversation to her latest triumph, a family photo shoot for Christmas cards. "We look so happy," she gushed, passing around her phone. Then the jab. "Emily, you should join next time. Though it'd be just you, alone in the frame." I ignored it, but she didn't stop. "Seriously, where's your husband and kids?" "Oh, right, you don't." The laughter followed, parents included. It wasn't just a joke, it was a dagger. Betrayal washed over me like ice water. These were my blood. My support system. How could they laugh at my expense? Sarah's eyes gleamed with satisfaction. Mark averted his gaze, uncomfortable. The kids sensed the tension, going quiet. I excused myself to the bathroom, splashing water on my face. Staring in the mirror, I saw hurt reflected back. Why? I whispered. Was Sarah threatened by my freedom? Or was there something else? That night, as I left early, hugs felt hollow. Driving away, resolve hardened. I wouldn't confront them yet. No, I'd uncover why Sarah felt so superior. Maybe her life wasn't as perfect as it seemed. And oh, how right I was. But first, the emotional fallout hit hard, pushing me toward a plan I never thought I'd make. Flowing from that heartbreaking dinner, the days after were a blur of pain and reflection. I got home late that night, collapsing on my couch, pie untouched in the fridge. Tears came then, hot and unrelenting. How could my own sister mock me so cruelly? And my parents, laughing along like it was harmless fun. It felt like the ground had shifted beneath me, leaving me adrift. Sleep evaded me. I tossed and turned, memories flooding in. Childhood favoritism, adult jabs, it all connected now. Sarah had always positioned herself as the success story, using me as the cautionary tale. Don't end up like Emily, I imagined her telling her kids someday. The thought fueled my anger. By morning, sadness gave way to resolve. I couldn't change them, but I could protect myself. And maybe, just maybe, expose the truth. I started journaling, pouring out my feelings. Betrayed by blood, I wrote. Friends noticed my quietness. My best friend Lisa called the next day. What's wrong? She asked. I spilled it all, the mockery, the laughter. That's awful, she said. You deserve better. Her words helped, but the hurt lingered. I avoided family texts, claiming busyness. Sarah sent a photo of leftovers. Missed you leaving early. No apology, just pretense. Weeks passed and isolation set in. Holidays without family? It stung, but so did their words. I threw myself into work, designing logos that channeled my emotions. Sharp edges, bold colors. But at night, questions haunted me. What made Sarah so smug? I recalled odd moments. Her tense phone calls, Mark's distant demeanor. Was their marriage rocky? Did she have secrets? One evening, scrolling Facebook, I saw Sarah's post. Family game night, #perfect life. Comments gushed praise. But something felt off, her smile too forced. I dug deeper, checking old posts. Patterns emerged. Lavish trips despite Mark's modest job, expensive kids' clothes. How could they afford it? Dad had mentioned helping them financially once. Was that it? Curiosity turned to investigation. I called an old family friend, Aunt Clara, under pretense of catching up. How's Sarah? I asked casually. Oh, thriving, she said, but hesitated. Though I heard about some money troubles. My heart raced. What troubles? She clammed up, but it was enough. Sarah wasn't perfect. She was hiding something. This revelation shifted everything. Hurt morphed into empowerment. If she mocked my life, I'd expose hers. But how? Carefully, that's how. No rash moves. I needed proof. As winter set in, my plan began to form. A quiet gathering of facts, leading to a twist no one saw coming. But before the revenge, I had to face my own demons, healing the wounds they inflicted. Building on that emotional turmoil, my determination grew into a calculated plan. I wasn't out for destruction, just justice, a way to make them see the pain they caused. First, I needed facts. Aunt Clara's hint about money troubles was a start. I remembered Dad loaning Sarah money for their house down payment years ago. Had it continued? I started discreetly. I accessed public records, nothing invasive, just property taxes, business filings. Sarah and Mark's home was valued high, but Mark's salary as a salesman couldn't cover it. Sarah worked part-time. Where was the extra cash? Then a breakthrough. I found a business listing under Sarah's name, a side gig in event planning. But reviews were mixed. Some mentioned unpaid vendors. Next, I confided in Lisa, who had accounting skills. Help me look, I said. She agreed, and we pored over social media clues. Sarah's post showed luxury items, designer bags, spa days. This doesn't add up, Lisa noted. We suspected embezzlement or loans from parents. I called Dad casually. How's retirement? I asked. He sighed. Tight, with helping Sarah. Bingo. They'd been funding her lifestyle, dipping into savings. But why hide it? Pride, probably. Sarah portrayed independence but relied on handouts. And the mockery? Maybe deflection from her own insecurities. Mark seemed unhappy in photos, distant eyes. Rumors from mutual friends hinted at arguments. Was their marriage crumbling? My plan crystallized. Confront at the next family event, Christmas. But not angrily, strategically. I'd gather evidence, bank statements if possible, witness accounts. I even hired a private investigator for a week, ethically, to confirm finances. Report came back. Sarah had credit card debt, hidden from Mark. She'd been using parents' money without telling him. Excitement mixed with guilt. Was this revenge or truth-telling? I decided it was both. I'd expose it gently, making her feel the humiliation I did. But twists awaited. As Christmas neared, I prepared my speech, heart pounding. Little did I know, the secrets ran deeper, involving betrayal that hit closer to home. With the plan in motion, the weeks before Christmas were tense, like walking a tightrope. I acted normal in texts. Can't wait for the holidays. While gathering more pieces. The investigator found emails. Sarah begging parents for money, promising repayment she never made. Don't tell Emily, one read. She'd judge. Judge? After her mockery? I felt a surge of anger. They kept this from me, treating me like the outsider. Why protect her? Because she had the family? It fueled me. I compiled a folder. Screenshots, statements, notes. Not to destroy, but to reveal. Christmas Eve arrived. Snow fell softly as I drove home, folder hidden in my bag. The house glowed with lights, carols playing, hugs upon arrival, but Sarah's smile was tight. Glad you made it, sis. Dinner was festive. Turkey, gifts for kids. Tommy and Lily's joy melted some ice in my heart. After dinner, by the tree, I waited for the moment. Conversation turned to New Year's resolutions. Sarah boasted, "We're planning a cruise. Hard work pays off." I took a breath. About that, I've been wondering how you afford it all. Silence fell. What do you mean? She asked, voice sharp. I pulled out the folder. I know about the loans from Mom and Dad, the debt, the secrets. Parents gasped. Sarah paled. How? Mark looked shocked. Loans? What loans? The room erupted. Accusations, tears. Sarah admitted it, blaming stress. But then, the epic twist. Mark confessed he'd suspected an affair, the real reason for debt, gifts for someone else. Chaos ensued. Parents were heartbroken, having funded lies. Sarah broke down, apologizing through sobs. I was jealous of your freedom, Emily. My life's a mess. It was vindication, but bittersweet. As the night unfolded, truths poured out, leading to a climax no one expected. From that explosive reveal, the Christmas gathering turned into a whirlwind of emotions. Sarah's face crumpled as Mark demanded details. Who is he? He shouted, voice cracking. The kids, sensing turmoil, were ushered upstairs by Mom. Dad sat stunned, hands trembling. We gave you everything, he whispered. Sarah confessed. The affair started a year ago with a coworker. The debt? From secret trips, gifts to keep him quiet. Parents' money covered it, hidden from all. I felt trapped, she sobbed. Your life, Emily. No responsibilities, traveling free. I envied it. Envy. After mocking me? Irony hit hard. I stayed calm. You betrayed us all, I said. Mocking me to hide your pain? That's low. Parents turned to me, apologetic. We laughed to keep peace, Mom admitted. We knew she was struggling, didn't want to upset her. Their words stung, but understanding dawned. They were enablers, fearing loss. Mark stormed out, packing a bag. Sarah begged him to stay. The house filled with pleas, regrets. I felt justice. Her mockery backfired, exposing her facade. But as tempers cooled, compassion crept in. We talked till dawn, Sarah promising therapy, parents vowing no more secrets, me sharing my hurts. By morning, exhaustion set in. Mark returned, agreeing to counseling. The family, shattered but honest, began mending. My revenge? It wasn't destruction, it was the catalyst for truth. But the impact lingered, changing us forever. In the wake of that climactic night, our family entered a fragile new chapter. Sarah and Mark separated temporarily, focusing on counseling. She quit her job, started anew in therapy, confronting her jealousy. "I'm sorry, Emily," she said weeks later over coffee. "Your strength inspired and scared me." We hugged, tears flowing, a step toward sisterhood. Parents reflected too. Dad called, "We failed you both, no more favoritism." They set boundaries, no more bailouts. I visited more, boundaries firm. My life? It bloomed. I took a promotion, traveled to Bali, embraced singlehood without shame. Months passed, bonds strengthened. At Easter, no jabs, just genuine talk. Sarah shared her progress, I supported her. The epic twist? What started as betrayal led to growth. We were closer, flaws acknowledged. As our story wraps, let's pause on the lessons. Betrayal hurts deepest from loved ones, but it reveals truths we need. Sarah's mockery stemmed from her pain. My revenge exposed it, fostering healing. Justice isn't about destruction. It's about balance. Making wrongs right without losing humanity. Remember, mockery often masks insecurity. Family should uplift, not tear down. If you're mocked, dig deep, understand why, respond with wisdom. In the end, forgiveness frees us. My epic twist? It turned pain into strength, reminding us, true happiness comes from authenticity, not perfection. What about you? Have you faced similar betrayal? Reflect and choose justice with heart.